Hey guys, it's Dudical here with Man Up Mate, where 3 stars win wars and egos lose wars. It's been a long hiatus here, first because we had an ugly losing streak with a lot of players coming and going and some awful attacks on our part. And after that we had a few maintenance breaks, and so we lost all of the replays and haven't done any. This war not quite over. We have almost 4 hours left versus Sekar Mas, an Indonesian clan, but we pretty well destroyed them, so let's go ahead and get this started. So I'm going to begin with an attack by Rocket Man. 3-starred their number 14. Rocket has become my favorite drag lunar of our group here lately. He's been doing a lot of tricks with Hogs in his fights. So what he's doing today, you can see he's got lightning and he's got Hogs hiding in his clan castle here. He's going to do a couple of cool tricks here. He sets up his funnel coming in from the east here, pretty broad funnel. And we'll speed this up until some action starts here. And when it does, it happens fast. The troops come out, he drops 3 lightning on them, destroys basically all the clan castle troops in one blow. And then he brings back-end Hogs in here to take out the air defense. So essentially, this air defense got maybe 5 or 6 shots off at his dragons. This one got lightning, that one got taken out by Hogs, so the dragons really only had 1 air defense to deal with. So, pretty fantastic strategy. Rocket has been doing a great job of finding bases with exposed air defenses so that he can do this either on the front end or the back end in the last couple of wars. He got 6 stars in the previous war doing this strategy, and I wish I had those replays to show you, but unfortunately they're gone. Next attack here, Ronnie is hogging versus their number 13. Let's go ahead and watch this. A couple comments here. He takes advantage of the fact that there's a couple open 3x3 spaces with some holes in the middle of the base, so that's the main reason I want to show this one, is because that's pretty entertaining. At any rate, he goes ahead and starts off with his clan castle lure using a couple of Hogs, which is fine. Brings them over to the corner here. One thing we're seeing a lot of is these clan castles with a Lune in there, and it takes a while to get the Lune brought over. One trick to make this a little easier is if you lure this direction, then you lure this direction. The wizards and the archers can do a lot of running around back and forth while the Lune slowly catches up, so a little easier to group them together that way, but this looks good. And he goes ahead, pre-heals, and drops all his Hogs in here. My only complaint is he's got a couple of archers here. You may as well just drop 1 archer here, 1 archer here to test that out. There are a couple of reasons for it. One, you can save your Hogs from taking on that damage even though it is pre-healed. The other is when the Teslas pop, it makes your Hogs pause for a second while they're recalculating which target to attack. So I'd say lose a 1 troop space troop rather than risking all of your Hogs being dropped there if something was off. But otherwise, pretty fantastic. He attacked it from the inside, tore the core out to begin with, and cleans it all up nicely. And the other only nitpick there is, again, you know, often it's nice to have your Hogs come in front of your kill squad here so that it keeps the kill squad alive to do cleanup work. But pretty cool attack by Ronnie. Next, let's not watch that again here. Next, we've got number 12 being attacked by Weapon X. He is doing what I am calling a Go Val Pee Wee. Does he have a witch in here? Make it a Go Val Pee Wee Wee. Anyway, a couple things to say to begin with. He drops his golems right up here. Only comment there, I would honestly think it's better to drop 1 here and 1 here. That way they're coming in from these 2 directions. They're going to draw fire from this cannon and this cannon as well as the center. And right here, actually, because they're right up against that wall, they're not actually drawing fire from the mortar. So when he drops his whizzies out here, you can see the wizards start getting shot at by the mortar. So not ideal. There we go. The wizards start getting hit here. So sets up a funnel by putting his wizards out here. Again, if that golem was a little further out to start with, then the wizard could have taken this one out too. Just sets up a little broader funnel, so when he drops the P.E.K.K.A.s, they go into the center instead of roaming. In this case, it worked out fine either way, so no complaints, but just something to think about there. The Valkyries have a little bit funny pathing at times. They try to look for places where they can stand between two structures, so they can be a little bit unpredictable. So instead of going through the hole like the P.E.K.K.A.s did, they went over to this wall. But it gets into the core, rages, uses his King's ability, and does his cleanup. So not a whole lot else to say. Nice attack. Good job with the Valkyries. Now I'm going to have a sip of milk while he gets the cleanup. And the king comes in and the P.E.K.K.A.s tear everything up. I love the P.E.K.K.A.s when they go the right direction. One hit, one kill. They're like a sniper. Alright. Number 9, we have David, who used to have a much longer name, but with the recent update he was able to fix that. He is coming in here with a pretty standard drag loon. Sets up his funnel. One thing to notice, these guys sit a little longer because there is a storage right there, which again, it's a high hit point building. Makes him sit for a while. Drops his rage here, followed up by his loons. My only 2 comments there. If you've got the heal, I often think you've got 6-7 dragons bunched up together fighting the clan castle troops. You may as well just drop that heal then. That's where they're going to be taking the most kind of concentrated low damage hits, which is when the heal is often the most helpful. The balloons could have come down a bit sooner as well, so they actually get in front of the dragons in time to take out those air defenses, but it worked just fine the way David did it. So again, set up a really nice funnel, got the drags to the center here, dropped his rage. Like I said, maybe a little sooner on those balloons, and maybe that heal here while the clan castle troops are attacking them too, but as you can see, it all worked out great, so no major criticisms. Fantastic attack, David. Next attack, one of our newer players here, Marco, is hogging their number 8. Couple comments here. This is a fantastic hog base because you can see everything is so densely put together, and all of the possible giant bomb locations are out on the outside here. He starts off, drops a hog here for the lure. I think honestly a giant here would be a much better choice because that giant, you could drop him here, the lure would start, he's going to move in slowly, and he's going to actually survive long enough to do it all, so you just use 1 5-troop space giant instead of 2 5-troop space hogs. The other thing here is on the clan castle kill, things got a bit spread out here. I probably would have brought him back and forth a couple times first to get him bunched up a little better. And this is part of the reason you see his wizards taking fire from this cannon here. So if you could have got them all bunched up together there and done it, it might have worked a little bit cleaner. And then the only other thought is if you wanted to drop some hogs around these corners to pre-trigger some of these possible giant bomb locations, that could be helpful too. But again, can't complain too much since it works out so well. One thing I notice here, these guys set off this giant bomb, so he's got about a third of his hogs here who are all redlined. Would have been a good idea possibly instead of dropping this heal here to drop it there. When you're actually playing, it can be really hard to see what's going on though when those hogs are all moving about so fast. But 1 heal here, 1 here, 1 here. This part of the base was kind of left unhealed. Not a huge deal as it turned out, did a great job of cleaning it up. But maybe think a little bit about that heal placement before you do it. I know Jake over at One Hive says basically you need to know where at least 2 of your 3 heals are going to go before you even start your attack. And I'm just going to pause for 1 second to think about it. So when you heal, of course, you want to pre-heal any spots that you know there are giant bombs. And the other thing you want to do with your heals is heal a spot where the hogs are going to sit for a long time. So if you have your hogs going this direction, heal the direction that they're going, not the direction they're coming from. So if you could drop a heal that covers, say, 4 or 5 of these defenses at once, the hogs are going to sit there on those defenses. If you drop it over here, you're not going to get as many defenses at a time. So a little more central there and there possibly if you're going to drop those two that early. And then being watchful for those giant bombs instead of using up all the heals so quickly. But great attack. And again, these are just things I'm noticing. I'm by no means an expert, but just things I think about as I'm watching these videos. Number 4 here, we've got Robb doing another Valgo Pee-wee-wee. So let's get started. He drops his 2 golems up here in the corner to draw fire. Again, as I've said before, I'd like kind of spacing those guys out a little bit personally, but this works great. Puts his wizards out here to kill these junk buildings to set up a good funnel so his other troops will go to the core. Starts a heal here, maybe a little bit early on that. And now that he's got this opening into the core, he sends in the bulk of his troops. The P.E.K.K.A.s and the Valkyries, followed up by a few wizards and a witch here. And coming back up here, the queen who's being tanked by the king, and then also all these troops in the middle that are drawing the fire. So once they get to the core, rage and heal, they pretty much tear the crap out of it in a matter of seconds. And they're drawing all this fire from in here while part of his cleanup crew is going around the outside. Looks good. And the last attack of this recording here, we have a Lune Attack by Fire Troll. 3 stars there, number 2. So I love this. He sends these hogs in here, which do triple duty, or double duty, I guess. They take out one of the air defenses here, since he's doing an air attack, and they lure the clan castle. So it gets everything started. Does a clan castle kill down here in the south, drawing everyone down. And you may have noticed this was a 2-minute 59-second replay, so Troll had just enough time to complete this, and here's why. He is running these guys back and forth so that he can get them bunched up, but by going to complete opposite corners here, almost runs out of time. But you can see this does give this balloon a chance to pretty much catch up with all these other troops here, so they're nicely bunched up. And he does a fantastic clan castle kill. Boom. Took out everything but these last 3 air troops, which are easy pickings here for his archers. Sends in the hounds. One comment, you saw he dropped them off at slightly different directions. That helps them to pick up any air bombs that might be staggered a little bit here before the balloons get in there. And that last Seeking Air Mine totally chased that guy down. Probably did him a favor by by blowing up those hogs and making pups. You see his last hog sits here and does not get popped, which is probably part of the reason that the cleanup took a while. The lava hounds by themselves, they're great tanks. They don't do a whole lot of damage. When they pop and become pups, they do more damage. So you want all those hounds to be able to pop before the battle is over. Otherwise, time does become a bigger issue. Anyway, brings in the cleanup here. You can see the pups doing cleanup here, pups doing cleanup here. His balloons doing a little cleanup here, and the rest of his cleanup crew with his heroes taking care of the rest of it. So, finish that one off in 2:59. And forgive that little hiccup here, we're at 14 minutes. I was thinking about squeezing one more video in, but the free version of my software here only lets me record for 15 minutes, so we will leave it at that. 3.5 hours left, we're ahead by 20 points. I think this is pretty much a done deal. So anyway, again, this is Dutiful from Man Up Mate, where 3 stars win wars and egos lose wars. Keep clashing, guys, and hopefully we'll have another one of these in 2 days.